Alrighty, all, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, you have definitely picked the right day to do it, as it is going to be step by step all about the prime rib. We are going to go over a custom rub, choose some herbs that are going to go perfectly with this recipe. Then of course I will show you how to debone the prime rib, and of course I will show you how to tie it up, how to apply the rub and the seasoning, how to set up that pit, and of course we will cook it and then do that most important taste test. So what I want to do here is let's turn our attention down to the board. Let me show you that rub and let's start the show. So the channel has no shortage of purchased rubs on hand. That said, there is no important rub in the cabinet than this. As this is going to be your basic smoking rub, you are going to use this from anywhere to briskets, steaks, and of course today's show, prime rib. And it is basically going to be only 3 ingredients. We are talking a 16 mesh black pepper, some kosher salt, and of course granulated garlic. Now you want to stick with granulated garlic. You do not want to use garlic powder. And basically it is going to be a 2-1-1 ratio. In other words, you are going to go 2 parts black pepper to 1 part salt to 1 part granulated garlic. And that is going to be good for so many different recipes that you are going to do in the future. So I mix this up in batches and just leave it in the cabinet. As it sits, it only gets better and better, so that there is a good thing. So once you get that custom mixed all made up, you're just going to give it a good shake and you are all set and good to go. Now let's turn our attention to the fresh herbs that we are going to use in this recipe. So always remember, anytime you are working with an expensive piece of meat like a prime rib, you always want to go fresh. And that is exactly what the channel is going to do today. And of course, we are talking about some fresh rosemary. How about a little bit of fresh thyme? Follow that up by some garlic. And of course, to bring all that together, 1 stick of unsalted butter. So basically here, step 1 is you're going to want to destem that rosemary. And as always, remember the full ingredient list is going to be down in the description. Once you get that rosemary destemmed, go get yourself a little bit of thyme, because you're going to want to destem that. Once that is done, grab about 4 to 5 garlic cloves. You are going to do a loose chop on that. Now look, one little trick here that I like to do is get the rub that we are working with. As long as that has a good steady amount of kosher salt in there, you can put a little bit on the garlic and smush it down. That is going to help in the process. And again, remember, this is just a loose chop. Once you get them 4 or 5 cloves all chopped up, you are going to bring all that together, the rosemary, the thyme, and the garlic. Give that one last final chop, and then go grab your melted 1 stick of unsalted butter. Also grab yourself a bowl. You are going to add the fresh herbs into the bowl. Follow that up by the butter. And of course, give that one last final mix. Put that somewhere warm. And at this point, let's turn our attention to the prime rib. So the channel has picked out a 9-pound 3 bone-in prime rib. If you can't find it with the bone, you can go boneless. That said, I definitely do prefer the bones. And the first thing you are going to want to do is get it out of the package. Get yourself some paper towels and just pat it down dry. Once that is done, we do have to separate the bones from the meat. A lot of times the butcher will have already done it. This one they didn't. It is no big deal. It is very easy to do. And basically all you are going to need is a sharp knife and a little bit of patience. As you are just going to trace the bones with your knife, just take your times, and as you are doing it, spread the bones. Now look, you are not going to want to go all the way through. You want to leave the bones attached at the bottom. Once you've got them bones spread apart, you are going to grab that custom rub. You want to get the rub on the inside on both sides of the bones, tops and bottoms. Follow that by that butter sauce. You know where we're going here. Again, tops and bottoms. After that, you are going to close it up and grab that rub, because it is time to rub down the rest of the prime rib. Again, tops, bottoms, sides. Just pour it on and rub it down. And make sure you do get enough rub on. There is no doubt about it. At this point, you are gonna grab that butter mixture, grab your gloved hand and just start smearing it on. Again, you wanna get tops, bottoms, just rub it down, get all that butter mixture on with the garlic, with the thyme, with the rosemary. That is packing some flavor, I can guarantee you. Once all that butter mixture is on, you are gonna grab yourself 2 pieces of butcher's twine. That is all you need for a 3 bone-in prime rib. Now look, tying it up is no big deal. You do want to make your knot on the bottom side of the prime rib, so flip it over and just twist any old knot that you can. Just try to get it as tight as possible. Once you get that all tied up in between the bones, just get yourself a scissor or a knife and cut the excess string off. Flip it over, and basically that is all there is to it, but we do have one more trick up our sleeve. Now look, if you don't like prepared horseradish, and trust me, you do not get a heavy hit of it, then you can skip this part, but I highly suggest you do it, as it definitely takes this recipe out through the roof. Get about 2, 3, 4 heaping tablespoons on the prime rib and rub it all over the prime rib. I mean, no shortage of horseradish could be used here, and again, I am telling you, when you smoke it, when you grill it, when you cook it, it definitely takes a little bit of bite away, so it is going to form a crust like you've never seen on a prime rib, trust me. So once you get all that rubbed down with that horseradish sauce, just leave it here on the board to come up to room temperature. And now let's talk about how we're going to cook it. So whether you are cooking this recipe outside on the grill or inside in the oven, the most important factor here is gonna be your temps. So I am gonna monitor this cook with my ChefsTemp wireless and set my pit up at 225 Fahrenheit. Once that comes up to temperature, I will bring you guys back and we will start to cook. Alrighty, it is time to get cooking, and if I didn't mention it, you are gonna want your prime rib on a rack in a tin or a glass container like I have here. So once your pit or your oven has reached that temperature of 225, it is time to get our prime rib all set up to go in, and that is gonna be turning on our ChefsTemp wireless. Now the one thing I love about this wireless from ChefsTemp, you do not lose connection. I can leave my property, go to the store and follow along on the app. And I gotta tell you, man, for me, that app is a game changer, and we will look at that as the cook goes on. First, we gotta insert our gauge into the prime rib. Once that is done, we will go middle shelf in the pit. And again, 225 Fahrenheit is where you want to be. Close that down and let's take a look at this app as we are going to set up our cook. So basically you are going to go into the app, you are going to press beef, from there roast, and then of course prime rib. Now the one thing cool about this app for me is you can change your doneness. I am shooting for a firm medium rare on this prime rib. Yeah, I know I like it rare, but I do have some guests over who prefer it more to the medium rare. So that is where we're gonna go here. I will change my doneness to 110. Now look, the reason I do that is I like to keep a close eye at that 110 on. Leaving it at that 120 or so, you are already into that medium rare zone. So 110 is where I am going to go. Once you get that all set up, just press start cook and you are good to go. From there, it is just going to be a wait and see. We are going to let this run for 2 hours straight, no peaks. At that 2 hours or so, I will bring you guys back and I will show you the next step. So as you can see, everything is easy if you have an app that works, and we are right at that 2 hours and 22-minute mark. We are maintaining that 225 perfectly, and we are 88 internal on the prime rib, and it is time to turn it. So look, the reason why you want to turn it at this point is you want it to cook evenly, whether you are in the oven or the pit outside. Chances are there is some evenness in the heat in there. So again, turning it is going to help in some even cooking. And as we do turn it, man, would you look at the crust that is forming? That looks absolutely incredible. Once we get all that done, we will just shut it down and maintain that 225. I am going to bring you back the next time. At that point, we should be right at that 110 internal. So this is where changing my doneness from 120 down to 110 comes into play, as we get to monitor it now more closely for that perfect medium rare. And as you can see, we are a little over 3 hours in, and we are reading 106 on the app. What I'm going to do here is I want to double check that temp with my handheld. We got to be precise. We got to be perfect. And as you can see, that is pretty perfect to me. So what we're going to do here is we are going to turn it again. And as we do so, we are going to admire that crust. I mean, that is a product of that horseradish sauce that we brushed on early in the video. And I got to tell you, man, that is a flavor explosion. Trust me, as that looks absolutely gorgeous. From there, what we are going to do is we are going to shut it down and we are going to monitor it out closely. I'm thinking maybe about another half hour, 40 minutes or so. At that time, I will bring you guys back. We will get it off, slice it open, do that taste test, and close out the show. Alrighty, here we go. I've got the apps up on the screen. We are looking at about 3 hours and 41 minutes on the cook, and we are 120 internal. That should be perfect for that medium rare, as we will definitely get a 5 to 7 degree carryover on the rest. So what I want to do here is let's let that camera run and admire that prime rib that we worked not so hard to get. And I gotta tell you, man, it looks just about perfect. I mean, look at the crust again. That is the horseradish that we rubbed on in the beginning. Wow, man, I am absolutely thrilled at the way this prime rib looked. I mean, this may be one of the best prime ribs I've ever cooked. So what we want to do here is we're gonna get it off. We are gonna get it here on the board. Now look, unless you want more of a carryover, you want to get it out of that tin wherever you cooked it, get it off the rack. That'll slow that carryover process down. We will leave it on the board here 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. At that time, I will bring you guys back. Alrighty, so this one's going to come in right at that 4 hour mark. We've got about a half hour rest here, so let's call it 4.5 hours. And as always, ChefsTemp is going to have this full recipe down in the description. That'll be step by step, so you can follow along and pick up what you need. Let's turn this camera down here and let's slice it open. Alrighty, the moment of truth is upon us, and the first thing you are going to want to do is remove that butcher's twine. After that, you got to take those bones off. That is 1, 2, 3, and let me tell you something, those bones are good eating. There is no doubt about it. From there, we are going to reveal this sucker and see how we did, and we are going to go right down the middle. And I got to tell you, right off the bat, she is cutting like butter, and that certainly is a good sign. And also, that is a product of that slow roasting at 225, and now it is show and tell to the camera, and that looks absolutely perfect, man. I would say that is the perfect medium rare. That is going to be perfect for my guests. That is 100% sure, as we do let the camera run here, as we get a couple little bit more views. And I got to tell you, man, again, I am absolutely thrilled about the crust. So look, what I want to do here is I am going to get off just one slice. We will take a look at that. We will admire that. After that, I will bring you guys back and we will do that taste test and talk about it. That is going to be your slow roasted prime rib. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. A little bit of prep in the beginning, and then you are just going to let it run as close to 225, 250 as you can. And again, 9-pounder, we're looking at about 4 hours or so. And I would say we've got a medium rare here. I like it more on the rarer side, but the wife will definitely be pleased. Let's go on in for that taste test and then talk about it. And there is, I mean, look, it is kind of hard to beat a good prime rib, and this is certainly that. Cheers. You know, you've got that rosemary, that thyme, that garlic. It is all in there, along with the flavor of the protein. I mean, it is hard to beat. Salt, pepper, and granulated garlic is all you need. You can leave all those fancy rubs in the cabinet. Prime rib is easily one of my favorite cuts to cook. I mean, you know, you can do so much with it, and you can do a lot with the leftovers. You can blacken it, you can use it in a hash, or just plain old leftovers, heat it up, and you are good to go. And also, my ChefsTemp wireless did Did a tremendous job, easily to follow anywhere throughout the house. If I want to leave the house for a little while, I just take my cell phone with me. You do not lose connection like you do with some of the other wireless, so I definitely appreciate that. And of course, my ChefsTemp handheld, you know the deal. And that is going to close out this show. This is prime rib step by step. Again, my name is Tommy. I appreciate ChefsTemp for allowing me to come over here and cook for them. If you have any questions on this cook here, or you've got a recipe you want to see in the future, just leave them down in the description, as I will peek in from time to time and try and answer all the questions you guys ask. And that is going to close out this show. Again, my name is Tommy. I appreciate you all for watching. And until next time, we will see you soon.